There's a difference between a home and a fortress. A home invites, a fortress withstands. And somewhere along the way, quietly, almost imperceptibly, many of us stopped building homes and started building fortresses instead. So tonight the question is, where do you build fortresses instead of homes? And to guide us through it, we're calling upon a figure from the shadows of the Ars Goetia, Halphas. So join me now in and through the Static Seance.
It will speculate between stations, neither here nor gone. The hum of voices trapped in the wires, their confessions dissolving into static. A seance not in candlelit rooms, but on flickering screens, where the ghosts don't knock, but distort the signal. Shadows coil in the white noise. If only one dares to alter their own frequency and listen.
Halphas is known as an Earl of Hell. He commands legions. He builds towers. He constructs fortresses. But unlike many spirits described in the grimoires, Halphas doesn't tempt with chaos. He offers structure, defense, reinforcement, isolation. In older texts, Halphas is described as a builder of fortified places, places meant to withstand attack. But here's the question that matters for us tonight. What happens when the fortress is never meant to be left? Halphas represents something deeply human. Not evil, not monstrous, but defensive intelligence. The instinct to protect, to withdraw, to reinforce, to say, I will not be hurt here. And that instinct is not wrong. In fact, it can be necessary. We all build fortresses at some point, after betrayal, after confusion, after realizing the world doesn't always meet us with understanding. So we build walls around our emotions, walls around our ideas, walls around our identities. And sometimes we become very, very good architects. So let's ask it plainly. Where do you build fortresses instead of homes? Not where are you strong, but where are you sealed off? Because a fortress has one fatal flaw. It keeps danger out, but it also keeps connection out. So let's start with the past. Where did you barricade? Think about that carefully. Not just what hurt you, but how you responded to it. Did you stop trusting people? Did you stop expressing certain ideas? Did you decide that certain parts of yourself were better hidden than shared? Fortresses are rarely built in moments of peace. They are built in reaction. And over time, the reason you built them fades, but the walls remain. Now we move to the present. Where do those walls still exist? Where have they become so normalized that you no longer question them? Maybe it's in your relationships. Maybe it's in your creativity. Maybe it's in your beliefs. Or maybe it's the way that you think about truth itself. For me, the fortress exists between science and religion. I've built barriers there, not because I believe they can't coexist, but because I'm afraid of what happens when they collide too abruptly. I don't want to confuse others. And being honest, I don't want to confuse myself either. So I separate them. I keep them in different rooms, different conversations, different frameworks, science here, religion there, order maintained, no conflict, but also no synthesis. And I've come to realize something uncomfortable. That separation is a fortress. It feels responsible. It feels careful. But it's still a form of isolation. Because the deeper truth that I'm seeking doesn't live in one room or the other. It lives somewhere in between. And if I keep the walls up, I'll never reach it. Why do we maintain these fortresses? Because we fear collapse. If the walls come down, what happens? Do contradictions emerge? Do we lose credibility? Do we lose certainty? There's a particular fear when it comes to ideas. The fear of being misunderstood. Or worse, the fear of being understood incorrectly. And so we build carefully. We curate what we share. We control the flow of information, especially when we feel like we're navigating something complex or something that others might not be ready for. There's a line I think about often. It's the difference between an adult teaching children and an adult who's teaching adults who are taught by children. That's a delicate space because you're not just communicating ideas. You're navigating frameworks that already exist in someone else's mind. And sometimes those frameworks are fragile or rigid or incomplete. So you become cautious, measured, and again, you build walls. Not out of arrogance, but out of responsibility, or at least what feels like responsibility. This is where Halphas becomes more of just a symbol of defense. He becomes a warning, because protection without warmth becomes exile. If everything is fortified, nothing is shared. If everything is controlled, nothing is discovered. If everything is defended, nothing is inhabited. And that leads us to the central truth. Fortresses starve intimacy, not just with other people, but with reality itself. Halphas asks us to confront something. Where have you equated safety with solitude? Where have you decided that being alone or being guarded is the same as being secure? Because it's not. It's stable, it's controlled, but it's also isolated. The calling here isn't to tear everything down recklessly. It's not about abandoning protection. It's about refining it. Because protection without connection is hollow. A fortress should not be your identity. It should be a tool. Something that you can enter when needed and leave when it's time to live. So what's the transformation? It's subtle, but it's powerful. Vulnerability becomes strength. Not blind vulnerability, not careless exposure, but intentional openness. The willingness to say, I don't have to resolve everything before I share it. I don't have to separate everything to understand it. I can explore the space between. For me, that means allowing science and religion to speak with each other, carefully, thoughtfully, but without walls, without forcing conclusions, just allowing dialogue. So in the future, where must openness return? Where is the fortress no longer serving you? Where has protection become limitation? Where has structure become confinement? Because the goal isn't to destroy your defenses. It's to inhabit your life again. Halphas offers one final lesson. You are not meant to defend your life. You are meant to live it, to inhabit it, to move through it, to engage with it even when it's uncertain, even when it's complex, even when it challenges the walls you've built. So tonight I'll leave you with this. Take a moment after this video ends and sit with this question. Not quickly, not defensively, but honestly. Where do you build fortresses instead of homes? And more importantly, are you ready to open the door?
When 4 was on a cake of fire, he was not a favored liar. Lots of screams came through the dreams. The devil melted his own soul.